Hello, my friends, and welcome to Cathy Chat. I am telling you the truth. You know how it is for me while I am networking out there all the time. When I meet someone and it's like that wow factor, I have to get them on Cathy Chat. And today, the great news for all of us is Jeff said yes. I'd like to introduce you to the one, the only Jeffrey Jeff Delwiche. We affectionately call him JJ. You can call him whatever you want. Just call him for dinner. How are you doing today, Jeff?
I'm well, thank you, Kathy. Great to be here. I appreciate you having me. Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday.
Absolutely, 1,000,000%. And the interesting thing is, we know in Kansas City that spring is somehow sleeping and we're going back to winter. What's it like in your neck of the woods?
Currently 34 and sunny. I am in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. There is snow on the ground, but you know, baseball season is upon us. So
Woo!
I don't know. Might be a little tricky. It's kind of like seasons overlapping. Should be interesting.
I'm going after that groundhog. What about you?
I think so. I think I'm with you there, Kathy.
Fantastic. I would love for our watchers, our viewers, our listeners, our seekers, everybody that's looking for Cathy Chat today. I'd love for them to know what is the impact of our fantastic Jeff? What is the deal that makes you tick?
Well, I'm very passionate and energetic. I get along well with others. I am currently seeking a remote content marketing role because I love creating content. I love inspiring others and energizing others through my content. And I think my content very much reflects my bubbly personality, who I am, what I have to offer. What you see is what you get. Everything is authentic and genuine. And like I said, that's through my content. That's through interpersonal communication. I like to think of myself as the real deal.
Wow. Hashtag the real deal. I'm loving that already. Now, you mentioned content creator. Do you work for clients like one on one, or do you work for a company and create their content? What does that look like?
I have done both. Most recently, I have been freelancing just to try and make ends meet, but I have experience as far as working in a very kind of intimate one-on-one content creation strategy, as well as creating content for mid to larger size companies. So either way, you're always adjusting your voice one way or another. There's no one size fits all with regard to content marketing, content creation. So got to be fluid, got to be able to adjust as needed.
Absolutely. And how long has this been your profession?
Actually, a little over 10 years. It was the fall of 2013 when it finally hit me. And I had just graduated from University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh. I had already earned my bachelor's, and then I discovered what I wanted to do with my life, what I was passionate about. So funny how that works. The order of operations sometimes gets a little mixed around. But yeah, the fall of 2013 is when it hit me. I don't really remember if it was where the inspiration came from, if it was a dream or what, but all of a sudden it was there, and I just ran with it full steam ahead.
My gosh, I love that. Is there a difference between content creator and digital marketer?
Not exact. Well, I wouldn't say a difference. Digital marketing is the umbrella, and content marketing belongs kind of under that umbrella. There are
Okay.
various methods for marketing brands, products, services. Doing so by creating content, that is just one very kind of hot option. Nowadays, everyone is creating content. So I'll be the first to admit what I'm seeking. It's very competitive. I'm one of, thousands probably of applicants currently seeking a content marketing role. Um, so to answer your question directly, they're not necessarily one and the same, but they are together. It is an
Sounds,
umbrella.
yeah, I was going to say the umbrella part is a great analogy and it's a link topic, which is also good. Now you mentioned there are applicants, which means you're a job seeker, which means you're taking the job market by storm. What would you be able or willing to share with other job seekers that you have learned while you're seeking that next dynamic opportunity?
Network, network, and network. Please network. You can fill out applications all day, every day that might get you somewhere, but it might not. I've actually done the math, if you can believe it. I have a 33% success rate when it comes to applying for jobs online.
Wow.
66% of the time. And what I mean by that, I don't actually mean I was hired 33% of the time. I mean of the jobs that I obtained through online applications, only 33% of them were a good fit for me and vice versa. 66% I ended up in bad situations. And in looking back on it, companies were desperate to hire. I was desperate to get employment. It was lose lose for both sides. So that's my 66%. That's my personal story. Um, you have to network. I'll tell you a big reason for that. The job that you so desperately want quite possibly isn't even posted online. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but a good chunk of jobs are not actually shared publicly. You hear about them through word of mouth. You know someone who knows someone who knows someone. So networking is everything. It is a process that requires patience. Please don't expect to start networking today and land your dream job tomorrow. Please be patient. Please cultivate, build up your community, establish trust, show your your colleagues, show the Cathy Weavers of the world what you have to offer. Like I said, establish the trust, the relationship. Eventually, something will fall into place.
You mentioned my one of my very favorite words in the whole world, which of course is networking. And I have been networking full time since 2008. And I have found a lot of people think as soon as they attend that first Chamber of Commerce meeting, they're going to sell a million, gazillion, trillion of their widgets or gadgets. And I'm always like, oh my gosh, that is not how networking works for most of us. So it's interesting that in the job seeker market, also, job seekers are if even anticipating the second they network, they're going to land their dream job. And that's not your experience either, correct?
Correct. And I mean, case in point, I have not yet found that next opportunity, but I can feel it. I can feel it coming. I feel like it's in the distance. I just, I'm getting closer and closer and closer. Correct. Not networking is not for the impatient nor the impulsive, and that's okay. If you hurry up and find a job like now, when I did that, it was my 66% failure rate. So try not to worry so much about speed, about right now. Hopefully, you have a nest egg set aside for this very, for your job search. Absolutely. It is a long game. It requires patience, but it will be worth it in the long run because those that you've established trust with, that you've built relationships with, they're not going to put you in a situation where you are going to, fail right from the start, where you're going to be uncomfortable, unhappy. They knowing what they know about you, having gotten to know you, they're going to be sure to take care of you and put you in a position where you will thrive and be happy and make the world a better place, frankly.
That's the best news of all. I think just hearing you talk about this, attitude seems to be like a million% of your DNA. And instead of just sitting in the closet and like whatever to the world, you have been out there, out there, out there. In fact, I got to meet you networking. And that is the coolest thing ever for me, is because I never think it's an accident who God puts in our path. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting here on Cathy Chat with Jeff Delwiche. And I'm like, holy moly, what is your background from a standpoint of networking? Are you an automatic networker or did you have to learn some skills to get here?
I definitely had to learn some skills to get here. I do prefer virtual networking. The pandemic was obviously, none of us want to relive that, but it was a game changer in, I would say, some positive ways as far as virtual component, virtual convenience. I do, obviously, as I mentioned earlier, prefer remote, a remote role because that's where I'm at my most productive and creative. Something I learned, obviously, during the pandemic. Um, I had to, as an ambivert, someone who can go back and forth into my shell and out of my shell. I I needed to practice. I'm still practicing networking. I don't know that I'll ever be a master at it per se, but no, I had to push myself. All right, Jeff, no more excuses. You don't even have to put on nice clothes and drive to a place and meet people and shake their hands. It's all online. It's all virtual. Stop being so afraid. Stop doubting yourself. It's not going to be perfect. It doesn't need to be. Just join these events. See what you think. Maybe they'll work out. Maybe they won't. How about this Cathy Weaver? She does events every Monday morning. She's, she does weekly events. Why don't you connect with her and just see what comes of it? So I had to push myself and I had to work at it, and I continue to work at the networking component.
Yeah, most of us do, as a matter of fact. I always tell people we don't come out of the box this way. It's a little bit of an effort, a little bit of a step every single day, a little bit of an extra push. And so that is a great tip for many of us. Now, for any employers who are out there and they are looking for a content creator that they know they can trust from a standpoint of not having to micromanage or handhold, what would you want that next employer to actually know about you that would put you at a different, like the top of the pile of those 1,000 applicants? What would you like them to know is the coolest part about Jeff?
I work very well with others in an authentic, genuine nature. I don't change who I am to make everyone like me or to get along with others. I am I treat everyone as I would want to be treated, and that works with, I would say, 95% of my colleagues. When someone has a problem with me, it's generally we're two very different people. They're generally, you know, on the angrier, more negative side of things, and that's okay. They're not necessarily wrong. I'm not necessarily right, and we still get along just fine. We're not meshing as there's that 5% that you're not necessarily going to mesh with, and that's okay. I What you see is what you get, I believe, is what I said at the top of this call. Um, I I love working with people, even though I am an ambivert. I love inspiring people, energizing people through positivity, through strong communication, and it's what I miss, and it's what I'm looking to reconnect with.
I bet. And that sounds perfect also, because those employers out there who are looking for a dynamic content creator, here you are. And to be able to connect people really does absolutely rock my world. And I mean that with all my heart, because with job seekers, we've all been there. Absolutely everyone has been there. And many times people say in the job market, it's not necessarily what you know, but it's definitely who you know. And that's why I love the networking piece. I'm thrilled to be able to have you on the show today, Jeff. And I mean that with all my heart, because I've seen your attitude, I've seen your dedication, I've seen your consistency, and all of those words actually rock my world as well. For those of you watching with us today, or certainly on the replay, connect with Jeff on LinkedIn. And we've got the LinkedIn URL on this banner, but it is linkedin.com/in/Jeffrey, REY, Delwiche, Delwiche, and you'll be able to find this superstar all over LinkedIn. I love the fact that you're posting. I love the fact that you support other people while you're job searching, like seeking for that next dynamic employer. But the rest of the story is I have also seen you help other people who are open to work, as in that's the hashtag that they're using now. And it's very nice of you to share what you've learned with other job seekers.
It's my pleasure. And hashtag open to work. We officially have our own community. Who would have thought that would be a thing that is established and cultivated? But I want to help others. It goes back to treating others as I would want to be treated. I want to help others as I would hope to be helped. Um, Being unemployed, it is very trying for anyone watching who has been in that position or might currently be unemployed. It is emotionally, mentally, even physically exhausting. Physiologically, you feel tired all the time. You feel, depressed. You might have a hard time energizing yourself for the day, getting out of bed. I believe being unemployed is far more stressful than being gainfully employed. So I want to help other people however I can. Not only unemployed people, but people who have or maybe be in a position currently that they're unhappy in, or they have bad memories of past positions where they felt unfulfilled, maybe mistreated. So I want to help those who are hashtag open to work, as well as those who um, may be in their own way just because of some very forgettable, unfortunate employment experiences. So I want to help others however I can. I want to pay it forward, as they say.
Well, you're a great example of that as well. I'd like to flip this for 1 second to, what are you looking for in an employer? We've talked about what you can offer that next dynamic opportunity employer, absolutely. But what are you looking for in an employer? What does Jeff want that employer to actually be as far as the content marketing piece?
Well, I always tell people I'm not super particular about company size. What I am very particular about is culture. I have to be allowed to make mistakes without being, you know, condemned for them. Mistakes happen. We are all human. I need to be in a nurturing environment where we encourage each other, we build each other up, we energize each other, we fail together, and we succeed together. Now, don't get me wrong, if I'm making the same mistakes over and over and over, I can understand why my supervisor might need to say, "All right, Jeff, we're having an issue here. I'm noticing a pattern. How can we resolve it?" But that is a lot different than, getting chewed out for the first time you make a mistake, which you wouldn't even have realized was a mistake at the time. No, none of us can read minds, and with my personality type, that'll just cause me to shut down anyways if I'm just being, attacked unnecessarily unfairly. I have got to be allowed to fail and learn from those failures in a nurturing environment.
That is so fantastic. And I know that what you do is virtual, which means you can actually be hired from anywhere on the planet. Is that true?
That is true, and I have done freelance work for people in other countries, which is a lot of fun, and it makes me feel kind of empowered, like my reach is kind of going every which way across the globe. It's a neat feeling, and yes, I am open for business throughout the world.
I love that so much. Again, I thank you so much for being on Kathy Chat today. Before we say farewell to these superstars again who are watching with us or certainly on the replay, what would you like to leave us with? Like a culmination, what would you like to leave us with today?
If you are watching this, I already consider you to be a part of my community that I would like to cultivate. Please do connect with me. Please do reach out to me. I'd love to hear your feedback on my appearance here today. Constructive criticism, bring it on. I'd like to know what I did poorly and what I can work on to do better next time. Also, wouldn't mind knowing what I did well, just so I can kind of, keep that going, kind of own that. Yeah, if you are watching, if you hear the words I'm speaking, you are already, as far as I'm concerned, part of the JJD community. Reach out, let's start a conversation. Let's just see where it takes us. There's no right or wrong way to do it. There's no expectation. Let's just let's just get the ball rolling and see what happens.
Wow, that's fantastic. Please do connect with Jeff on LinkedIn. There is a tab that says connect with the JJ piece. So do that right off the bat. Schedule that coffee check, schedule that one on one meeting, schedule that opportunity to get to know Jeff a little bit better. Again, thank you, Jeff, for being on Kathy Chat today. I'm thrilled to get the word out there as you do take the job market by storm and as you do help other job seekers. And certainly, I love the fact that there's an open to work community. So thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you so much, Kathy, for having me. It's been a pleasure. And thank you to everyone who's tuned in. I really appreciate all of you.
Bye for now, my friends.
Bye bye, everyone.